Welcome to Behavioral Finance and FinTech. I'm Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance, who will guide you throughout this fall semester of 2021. This has been my absolute favorite class to teach you over the past 5 years because this is a combination between FinTech, which is the information technology being used in finance, and the psychology of those investors in the market, which is called behavioral finance. So there could not have been any better combination than these two in finance area or business as a whole, right? So I hope you enjoy this class and let's get it started. So given that you're interested in FinTech, right, you must be familiar with the word called financial democratization and robo-advisor kind of things, right? Well, how much do you think you can help, right? By creating that kind of ventures, right? Robo-advisors. Let's take some hypothetical questions, which is frequently being asked around financial professionals, including private bankers. If you look at the private bankers, their hearsay, right? What is the age group that shows best investment performance, right? People in their ages of teenage or lower, or 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and infinity? Which age group do you think they perform the better, the best, right? Turns out it is usually the youngest ones, 0 to 20. Why? Because these are the guys usually being helped by private bankers. They belong to the rich family, okay, rich kids, right? Exclusively helped by private bankers, so nobody can beat it. They get the best information and they work for you, right? Because of the inheritance concern and tax concern, right? Money is an iron. This is the verse coming from Chung-suk in movie Parasite, which won Academy Award in 2020. This is a Korean movie, and if you are interested, right, the 박사장 댁, right, the rich person's house, is just 5 minutes drive from SKKU. You have every reason to just visit there and then look around. This is the word, right? She says, money irons out all the wrinkles in your face. Just like that, your financial performance, if you are rich, then you get the best information anyway with the private bankers. So there is a paper by Bonaparte and Fabozzi in 2011 where they looked at the survey of consumer finance in the United States that based on the US people, right? Random sample the US population, and then what they found out is that they were comparing those rich guys in top 10 percentile in that column over here, and then the poorest guys in the bottom 10 percentile in terms of what? In terms of the amount of stock investment in their portfolio, okay, in their asset, right? So the rich guys versus poor guys, they compare, and I show you top minus bottom, okay? So they ask these people about where do you get your information from? Okay, where to get your information. The drastic contrast was that rich people, they get information investing information from professionals, right? Like lawyers and accountants and all these kind of experts. Whereas the poor people, they don't have the access to that kind of sources anyway, too much, right? And then, in contrast, they also found out those poor people were resorting to or getting the information from informal sources like friends and relatives so much, right? Like that. So if you go in detail about it, for professional investment advice, where do they get the information? Well, lawyers and accountants. For example, if you can hire Kim En-jang's lawyer and then Kim En-jang's accountant, and then they work for you as a 집사 or a housekeeper for you. Wow, you must be Lee Jae-yong or somebody, right? Of course, you will have the best information, and then you can just invest accordingly and earn tons of money with that. That's what's happening. And the broker over here must be those private bankers, right? and bottom 10 percentile, they don't have this kind of chances, right? And then informal sources, if you look at it, what is interesting is that the bottom 10 percentile of the people, they show much more, they get much more information from friends and relatives if you go to the bottom over here, compared to the rich people, okay? So it turns out they don't know how to value any company, but they just put their money into whatever company their friends and relatives put. Okay, whereas top 10 percentile people, they don't do it that way. They don't invest if they don't know. Okay, and then what is also interesting is that these rich people, they resort to their spouses as a source of information. So another point of learning is that don't try to invest secretly from your spouses. 마누라 몰래 투자요? No way. No. So 등짝 smashing goes on, like you'll be like scolded a lot after all, right? So that's another thing. And then so FinTech for financial democratization. Well, if you think that overcoming information gap is the best thing that you will do with your FinTech services, then good luck. Good luck. I don't think that will be doable. Hiring Kim Yan-jang's lawyer, well, I bet you their salary will be like 10 times to 20 times bigger than yours anyway. Difficult to hire. But the pain point that you can address, the very important pain point that you can address with your financial, the FinTech service, is the second point over here. Help them to minimize mistakes in investment. Well, that's something you can do with robo-advisors, right? And FinTech services. Just minimizing the mistakes is just good enough, okay? And then it will help a lot for the poor people. And you can finally democratize finance in that way. Well, for that purpose, you need a solid understanding of psychology, right? When do they get confused? When do they make mistake? And then you have to address those points for those investors. For this purpose, you need a solid understanding for behavioral finance. That's why I'm combining this behavioral finance with FinTech. Okay. Prerequisite of this class is financial management. If you have not taken it, please drop it right now and see you next year, or maybe. Another thing I want to tell you, having said that, well, finance professors in SKKU, I'm proud to say this, right? This is the teaching award result, right? Over 2020 and then last year's, right, teaching award was awarded this fall semester, and then global 경영학과 and then 경영학과, this 학부 level, right? Teaching award goes to me over here, and then 신영섭 교수님 over there, wow, and then 오정민 교수님, wow, and 김다혜 교수님, wow, right? We all congratulate each other, and these 4 professors are all from finance, right? This is the teaching award across all disciplines of business, but the top 2 guys in global business and then business, these are finance professors. Tells a lot about finance professors' competence, right? If you like my class, thank you. But there are many other great professors, excellent in teaching and research as well in SKKU. So I strongly suggest you to go there and then do the prerequisite first, okay? So wait for that. Wait for me later, okay? Suggested courses to take concurrently. Current topics in finance. There I am teaching data science and hedge fund, quantitative tradings kind of stuff, and econometrics and investments and derivatives, etc. Derivatives is done by Professor 신영석 교수님, right? He's a Wharton PhD and then worked in a hedge fund, right, before. So you're going to learn a lot. And for me, just to introduce myself, Dr. Finance, that's me. Go ahead and Google, YouTube search my channel, Dr. Finance, like and subscribe right now, right? And then And you can see my TV Joseon interview there. I once did it in April. I don't know. It was announced or published in April or something. It was about FinTech, right? So I was very lucky to be there. And then, I upload my lectures on YouTube because I want to, be competent, as competent as I can be in the market, so that anybody in the whole world can see me and then see, oh, that's a interesting lecture going on in Korea. Yes, we have a lot of fun here, right? So that's my purpose. And to further introduce myself, well, one thing I have to ask you is just be careful. There is a same named professor in economics department. He's a great guy that you see on the right hand side. He's 10 years or 11 years senior to me, right? He's busy. And so many people send emails to the wrong person, so we frequently exchange each other's email. But don't bother him, please. He's Kim Young-han 교수님 senior, right? He's international economics major, whereas I am, business and finance major. It's the behavioral finance. So come to me over here using my email address, ayhkim, right? And then, just to introduce myself a little bit further, well, I've been working here since 2015 at SKKU, so it's my 6th year, and I am currently working as a finance area coordinator, and then since 2020, and then I served as a GBA program chair for 2 years in 2019 and 20. Right at the end, I had to spend a lot of times working for you guys, excessively beyond my capacity. So by the end of last year, I was about to have a heart attack or something. I just got into hospital emergency room, and I realized that I cannot. So I just resigned, and then afterwards, I'm just working as a finance area coordinator only. Okay. But I like you guys, emotionally or psychologically, I can help you a lot and then advise you, right? So welcome anyone if you have questions. And then before working for SKKU, I worked for NTU in Singapore over 5 years. And then that's engineering school, but it has a strong business school. And those guys from Nanyang Business School, they are working very promising, prosperously in Asian financial market because they are from more quantitatively driven school, right? And then before that, I got my PhD at the University of Minnesota. I'm going to talk about a lot about Minnesota because we have to talk a lot about the efficient market hypothesis. Those rational expectations kind of things were essentially growing from Chicago, Minnesota, Carnegie Mellon, 3 schools of thoughts, right? Those Great Lakes around the schools around the Great Lakes, right? They are the ones developed it. So I have to talk a lot about it. But my research is in behavioral finance, not in that what I learned in my PhD program. Anyway, in Bank of America, I worked for them after I got my bachelor's degree at Yonsei University. And then when I was in my job market, right, in 1999 and then 2008 through 9, right? Both times there were terrible financial crises in macro scale. One in East Asian level and the other in global level. What does that tell us about it? Well, I had to send tons of resumes to all different companies, right? In the first experience over there in 1998, I sent out my resume to 75 different companies. Think about how many resumes you send out these days, right? Of course, some of you send out 100 different companies, but I find that a lot of you send your resumes to about 10 different companies only. I think you have to be scattering a lot more, and then you should open up your mind. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay, you may have thought that you are marketing guys, but you may end up in finance, and you may think that you are finance guys. You may end up with marketing later on. It's okay. Okay, you are not a finished product. You are a work in progress. We are all. Our lives are just like a work in progress, ever developing, ever learning. Okay, so keep your mind open, right? In 2009 financial crisis, right? I had to send out my resume to 150 different schools in the first place, right? Because it was total crisis. Nobody knew what's going to happen. In the end, I ended up with a handful of job offers, right? I was very fortunate. But to have that kind of choices in your hand, where should I go? Then you have to spread out your resume to tons of different places in the first place. So what am I trying to say here? Well, if you want some psychological support, I can help you, comfort you, okay? And then resume writing and then that kind of things, I can help you a little bit, I guess. So I'm here for you. So email me or ask me around, right? So don't worry, okay? You are gonna get there, right? Just be strong. Hold your head up high. That's what. So my teaching areas, behavioral finance and fintech, and data science in hedge fund, right? I've been teaching that since last year together with Professor Hyung-Kyu Choi. And then international finance, I've been teaching that in the spring semester. It is available for free in the simplytaught.com over there, right? Which is organized by Arizona State University Professor Artif Ikram. And then, my lecture being available in internationally, right? So I'm proud of doing that. And then other than teaching, right, I also help my students in their extracurricular activities like outside competitions. For example, CFA Research Challenge. There, let me show you some of the pictures of my memories. These are the group of my SKKU students who won the first prize in Korea and then went to Asia level competition in Australia. You see me over there and my students over there, 2019. And then they were having a lot of fun meeting those real world fund managers and then getting advice and then meeting and then making friends with other countries, and things like that. So I strongly encourage you to go for CFA research challenge like this. And then Southeast Hedge Fund competition, I have something to show you over here. Plaque that we received, SKKU students received from 5th annual Southeastern Hedge Fund competition organized by Georgia State University, Robinson College of Business, right? That was April this year, just like 4 months or 5 months ago. Okay, these guys, right? 정준혁, 안치승, and then 문재원. They took my current topics in finance class and then got into this competition. And then one of the top 5 guys, right? They were competing with PhD students from London Business School and then the Texas Austin undergraduate students and then guys from St. Gallen of Switzerland and things like that. And then we beat Indiana Kelley University already, right? So very encouraging. Go ahead and challenge this. I'm here for you. My research area, you can see it. Biological traits of CEOs and firms, risk and M&A, all this kind of financial decision making. How does that CEO's trait affect, right? And then big data or unconventional data, right? Textbook, no. Seriously, no. Okay? So it's cheap to take this class. Yes, that's good part of it. Okay? Well, the downside of it is that I give you my PDF files of last year's class notes, and it has a lot of slide materials there, like 600 pages or 700 pages in the first place. So you're gonna spend a lot of time studying it anyway, okay? And then in the previously advertisement video, I told you about the case study that we may pursue, but I decided not to go there. You're gonna see why, so wait for that. And in case you seriously want some book to read, right? Books to read. Mandy Tam, my ex-colleague at NTU, has a wonderful textbook about FinTech. So go ahead and see it, read it. And then in Korean, right? 이관희 교수님's 이것이 공매도다. This is short selling, right? Go ahead and read it. He has wonderful videos in EBS, right? You can watch it, right? And then, so this is very informative and a lot of things to digest yourself. And then FinTech 4.0 by Kim Jong-hyun is there, right? And then it gets upgraded every year, right? FinTech is such a fast-growing and explosive area, so it is very difficult to have any book in the first place. The moment you have a book, then you have to upgrade it the next year. I mean, the publication cycle is like takes a year or something by the time you publish it, and it's an old thing. And then so many companies disappear, so you have to upgrade it. So that's a hard part. And then 홍성용 기자님, Naver and Kakao, go ahead and read it. This is a fascinating book, right? Another one, Kim Gang-won, the consultant, I think, Kakao and Naver, how did they become a bank, kind of things, all in Korean language, unfortunately. So this is not a textbook. In case you so desire about the quantitative trading, which is another part of FinTech from my perspective, or behavioral finance at least, right? Smart Beta and all these kind of things by 이현열 박사님, and then 강황국 선생님, right? Go ahead and read those. Course assessment, it looks like this. Midterm exam 25%, final exam 35%, valuation project of Kakao Bank 20%, and attendance 10%, participation 10%, total 100%. Okay? And then valuation of Kakao Bank, well, instead of case competition, I decided to do this because this is a very sexy fintech company just launched as in the Korean stock market, and then it's worth investigating. And then it will, by valuing this one, you will pay a lot of attention to this fintech industry naturally, and then you will learn a lot yourself, and then get ready for your job market in by doing it. Okay, so it's gonna help you a lot. Yeah. So go ahead and do it, and then estimate their fair value of their stock and give me a recommendation about whether to buy, hold, sell as of November 23rd of 2021. So keep your eyes on this bank and then stock, and then you are going to be able to write something by then. And then written report 50%, and then presentation 50%. So written report, what do you need to write? Well, Word file, okay? There you need an executive summary page, one page title, right? One page executive summary. Freestyle, you can be creative over there. Draw my attention, that also counts, right? How much professional you look matters. Remember, now you should be ready to get a job and then work right next day, right today. So show me that you can be, show up confident, show your competence in the first page. So go ahead and do that. And then 10 pages of double-spaced reports, including everything, right? And then video presentation, 50%, 10-minute length, right? Do you have to use only these 10 pages of Word file when you are presenting over there? No, you can be creative over here. Whatever way you do, I don't care. The more creative you are, the more better you would be, okay? This is a place to show off your creativity. YouTube uploading, go ahead and do it. All members should participate and present. Yes. If you choose not to, okay, fine, but expect, right, what's going to happen. Anyway, encouraging international team building. Yes, I give you a 10% bonus points for all the teams that combine SKKU students and foreign exchange students or non-native Korean speakers due to the inherent difficulties in communication. Right, make friends. That's my message here. It's my incentive for you to make friends internationally. Meet those guys, girls, whatever, right? And then this is my way of encouraging diversity among yourselves. It is the best chance to make your lifelong interaction, lifelong friendship internationally. So go ahead and do it, please. Tentative schedule looks like this. FinTech and AI in finance, that's what we are going to cover this class. And then the next week, we're going to study why do we care about efficient market hypothesis. And then red flavor, psychology of color and momentum trading. And then Warren Buffett, okay? And Eugene Fama, value investing versus efficient market hypothesis. I said versus, okay? And then investor psychology surrounding Gangnam Style. And then you're going to see some surprising facts about Eugene Fama in my research paper. And then the week 6, we're going to cover COVID-19 and stock market participation of individual investors. There we're going to study prospect theory versus expected utility theory. Okay, and then sports sentiment and then stock price. How to quantify this crowd psychology. We're going to talk about that. And then short squeeze. Short selling is such an important subject that we have to cover it. And we had such an exciting and interesting case that we have to study, which is GameStop. Okay, so and then we're going to have a lot of fun over there. And then Volkswagen and Porsche. There was another short squeeze case about it. So let's go ahead and study. And then you're going to do a midterm exam by week 8. And then we're going to move down to unconventional data, alt data kind of stuff. That has a lot to do with behavioral corporate finance. Elon Musk, the CEO, right? The Doge father, right? Is he a narcissistic CEO or overconfident guys, right? We're going to talk about these interesting concepts in your psychology. And then biometric data, okay? This is the part there where I major in. So I'm going to spend 2 weeks over there, if not 3. Right? Your hand tells much about your risk preference. 바로 이 손 안에 있소이다 kind of things. And then the next week, the face of risk, right? 영모의 상해로다 kind of things. Naver versus Kakao's CEO face. We're going to study that part. And then you're going to be surprised that these face tells so much about the CEO's face tells so much about the financial policies and strategies they take, the riskiness of the company, right? Their choices, which way would they go? Okay, it's not about whether you will become a CEO versus not. It's about how much of a risk would you take or not. Okay, a lot of things, a lot of interesting things over there. Satellite alternative data, InsurTech, RegTech, microfinance, and ESG. All these kind of things, we're going to talk about it. So sexy subject over there. And then industry showcase, I will invite a guest speaker, okay, so that you will like the person. And then you're going to do project presentation in the last week, and then we're going to do final exam. Okay, so that's the tentative. So let's go through the syllabus a little bit, right? Even though I told most of it, right? Yeah. And you see the class hour is Tuesday evening. Why is it evening time? Because I know some of you work in the industry. So daytime working and the evening time, you can take my class. Number 2, more importantly, the guest speaker, right? They can come easily in the evening time so that they can do the real-time Zoom talk with you in that hour. So that's why. And then what is it? Yeah, the course assessment, I told you about this. And then the valuation of Kakao Bank, go ahead. DCF as well as relative valuation, everything you can try. Written report, impress me, by the way. Yeah. And then attendance, yes, you should click and watch my videos through iCampus to make sure that your attendance is recognized. I realize that some of you directly come to my YouTube channel and just click it. Well, thanks for coming in and then subscribing it. That's great. But at least make sure every week you just click through the iCampus system and then move on. Okay. Participation, 10%. Whenever you have questions to me, email me with a title of GBA BFFT question, blah, 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 like that. Bracket over there first, so that I could recognize and classify it differently. Okay, this is for, GBA class, right? And then make sure you start with greeting. Hi, I am John Smith, taking GBA BFFT. Why? It tells a lot about your self-esteem. All right? Psychologically, this is very important. I told you this is about a psychology class. This is psychology of investors. And then the FinTech, you need to understand the psychology. Those guys without self-esteem, they're not going to repay the debt. Okay? They are the ones who will run away. You cannot trust those guys. Okay? If you don't show your self-esteem, you're not going to get a job. If you had a hard time getting jobs in interviews or whatever setting, right? Why didn't I get, I got my perfect score, but why did not I, in the testing scores, right? But why did not I get any job opportunities anywhere? Look back and see your attitude and see how much of a self-esteem that you demonstrated, that you have, right, in yourself. No self-esteem and then lack of confidence. No, that's the worst signal. And I want you to develop that self-confidence in you and show your self-esteem in your emails by writing out your name, 이름 석자, right? Your honor, your name, your reputation goes together with your name in your email. I want that being established in your communication, every aspect of you. Talk like Ivy League guys, right? You have to be one of those guys to be successful in this industry. Okay, that's what I'm forcing you. And then finishing your email, always say best wishes or best regards, right? And then, or sincerely. That's also good. And then your name as well, because you should show that you are proud of your name, right? And then you should thank everybody that you talk to. So make it your habit, right? It starts from this class. And then your participation grade, it works like this. It's all about spreading your good name to other people. If your questions add value to the class, then I will add participation grade to you. Either operational side of the class, if you help it. Oh, professor, your attempt of this and that, you're attempted to do this and that, but it does not show up. But here's my thought, here's my idea, you can develop it this way and that way. That's great. Operationally, I can, improve. You help me. Other part of helping me is ideas, right? Giving some creative suggestions or ideas or more thoughtful suggestions, right? Of the class discussions, and then correcting me, right? Oh, you said this and that, but I think that is incorrect, and then maybe other thing is correct, right? If you suggest it, right? If you add value, then I will give some points, right? If you don't do anything like this, your participation grade will be absolutely zero. Absolute zero. Okay? So I encourage you to do something, right? That's it. Don't flood me too much, right? On the other hand, if not value adding, I will not add any points, right? After a certain point. That's it. So that's a brief introduction of our class. So let's move down to the first week of lecture.